Well, what do you know? I'm back here in this fucking menu listening to this music. This series is going to seriously be the end of me, I can already tell. There's so much, there's so many scenes that are going to be hell. Hell for me because I'm not good at acting or voice acting. I'm not good at it. So, yeah, it's like a hobby for me at this point. Same with writing. And I'm trying to remember when it gets really fucked. And seeing as we haven't been introduced to that character yet, I highly doubt that it's going to be Thursday. Maybe it will. Who knows? There's something that happens in Carl's around that I don't remember when it happens. It's been a while, but like, I swear, all the characters, pretty much every single one of these characters is a fucking dick at times, and I get it. That's how it is. It's real life, but like, Jesus. Alright, let's just stop with this bullshit and get into it. Yeah, Thursday. Alright. Are you sure you want to come down? Carl lay spread on his bed, game controller clutched in the paws that are thrown, and both of the paws that are thrown over his head against the pillow. He offers me a glance but returns back to his game. This time it's a new looking open world fantasy. Honestly, I'd much rather be watching him play it than doing homework. I just don't want to distract you, man. You know how much help I am. I frown. Will it be more for the company than anything? Don't you want to look through this stuff too? Carl screws up his muzzle of contemplating. I've seen most of it, dude. I wrapped up half the stuff in there. Oh, alright. I paused but didn't say anything. It's clear he's not interested, so I have no reason to nag him. Still, it sort of hurts my feelings. As I make my way into the basement alone, I realize another reason why I would have appreciated Carl's company. The house is as What? The house is creepy as fuck. I've always been a bit of a pussy when it comes to scary things. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy, you're in the wrong game then. I mean, once, after I'd seen a scary movie of possession, I've been afraid to go to sleep for weeks. Mainly because my nightmares can seem so real. Well, you live in Echo. You lived in Echo. I don't know what to say. It took almost a month for me to imagine without the lights on, and I was 18 at the time. Oh my god. Don't hit me right there, buddy. Don't do that to me. And now I mentally kick myself for remembering that movie while I'm down in Carl's creepy basement alone. Yeah, no shit. Once I do to the crawl space, I do an awkward half run through the flood lamp that probably would have made Carl laugh his ass off. The crawl space really is fucking creepy. Well, maybe you shouldn't be thinking these things. Like, this is how I deal with this shit. I don't think about that crap when I'm, like, in a creepy place. At least I try not to, because once I do, that's when it gets fucking scary. I imagine Carl sleepwalking down here, which I'm pretty sure is what happened last night, then waking up alone in the dark. I can understand why he was so freaked out. The sight of the plastic tarp at the bottom of the steps brings back memories of the tarantula as well. Shit. Now I have a good reason not to go down there at all. I still don't know if what I saw was real or was some kind of hypnagogic hallucination that my mind always seems so keen to throw at me. Okay, for you fuckers that don't know what hypnagogic means, put it together. It's like it's this kind of state that you're in when you're like half asleep but half awake at the same time and your mind plays tricks on you. That's what hypnagogic is about. It's really interesting to look into that shit, so maybe do. I don't know. I scan the tarp. It's white and clean surface, free of any insects as far as I can tell. I shudder again before making my way slowly down the steps, eyes still darting around. Come on, you idiot, this is ridiculous. When I was younger, I used to have problem where I'd wake up in the middle of the night and see spiders crawling up my walls. I'd scream when my parents would come running to tell me nothing was there. My dad talked to a psychologist friend who told him it was normal. How is that normal? What? So he didn't do anything about it. Over time, hallucinations stopped. They didn't come back until I took the night shift on my university's campus. After that, I started to get sleep paralysis. I've had that. That shit sucks. And about half the time, spiders are involved. My feet crunch their way across the tarp back towards the tub that I know are marked history. I stare at them for a second, remembering that 2 days ago the tubs had been turned to have their sides facing the entrance to the crawl space. I clearly remember seeing them that way over Carl's shoulder, right before I saw the tarantula. Now their turns at their ends are pointing to the front. I frown, but the prickling feeling on my neck doesn't feel good. Especially with me being down here alone. With me being alone down here. So I shoved that to the back of my mind and grabbed the end of the bottom toe so I could start dragging it back toward the stairs. Sitting down and taking the lids off, I start sifting through the contents. Again, something isn't right. There are a few empty wrappers lying around among the artifacts as if someone unwrapped a few trinkets before taking them. I wonder if Carl decided to take a few things. God knows why he would. I removed those wrappers, 3 in all, and set them to the side before digging further in. This particular tub has a divider in it. As I started unwrapping things, I realized that one side is for the harder artifacts, like keys or knitting needles. The other is mostly paper items, like photos and documents. On the paper side, I see a thick folder, labeled Biography of James Hendricks. That's a bit of a coincidence. Not really, though. I did Carl this Hendricks. My eyes widen. Now that would come in handy. This is a book, or... As I open it up, I find a bunch of loose papers inside. Well, it's clearly copy paper. It's old enough in its own right. I move back down to the tarp so I can start spreading the documents out, not wanting to lose anything. I'm breathing heavily at this point, hardly believing my luck. There are hundreds of pages and I hardly know where to start. After a while, I begin to deduce what this is. Someone's been trying to write a book on James Hendricks. From what I can tell, it was Carl's mother, Tricia. Some of the documents were typed out in a typewriter, so this might have been started as far back as the 80s. Getting married, having kids, and running a company probably slowed things down just a little bit. I grin. Well, it's too bad this might never see publication. Carl's mom has no idea how much she saved my ass. On top of that, she's got it all organized. One divider indicates James Hendricks, while another marks Emma Hendricks, who I assume is James's wife. Few of them are filled with several names. Marilyn Smith, John Bugay, Yanaha Bugay, Christopher Leeway. Finally, the last section of the binder is filled with dividers, indicating dates. 1825 to 1852, 1852 to 1875, 1875 to 1887, and 1878 and 1890. I read this all wrong. Okay, fucking hell. It's right there, you can read it. Shit. I start with that, my fingers shaking a bit with excitement as I start poring over Tricia's meticulous timeline, using my phone to take notes. James was born in 1825 to an immigrant family from Ayr. His family faced oppressive prejudice from the day they arrived in the country. Despite this, they managed to make a living with James's father becoming a plumber, a profession that mainly dealt with lead. Oh shit, that's not good. His father, Martin, was abusive, even more so than was acceptable for the time, and James suffered greatly for it. The mysterious death of his 5-year-old sister, Martha, led many of the town's people to suspect murder on the father's part, but this was never proven. James left home at the age of 15. He told his remaining sibling, Jane, that if he were able, he'd find a place for both of them to stay to escape their father. Not much is known about James Hendricks between 1840 and 1849, with Tricia assuming that he simply job hopped around the tri-state area. What is known is that James set out west in 1850 during the gold rush. Luck struck quick with James finding gold at a quartz deposit in 1852. The first person James confided in about the find was his only friend, John Begay. John was a native desert fox and would go on to become James's business partner. This comes as a bit of a surprise due to John's many recorded instances of prejudice against the natives. With John's help, James officially laid claim to the mine before turning it into a business. While Echo was originally a small camp of less than 20 people, it became a mini boomtown. Over 2,000 people arrived within the next 3 years. Things went well for James after that. He became rich, built a mansion in Echo, and lived off the mine's seemingly endless flow of gold. He sent Jane, who was married with a large family at that point, a yearly sum of money. Meanwhile, no money was sent to his parents, who were living in deep poverty. He married Emma, a girl half his age, in 1860. They had 5 children: James, Thomas, Genevieve, Carol, and Martha. Well, that explains why there's a James Hendricks III in the smoke room. I think that's who he is. I don't know. Things changed for James in 1875, though, when he was accused of sodomy with John Begay. Of course, because of fucking homophobia. Fuck that shit. The land became lawless at the time. The land being lawless at the time, John Begay was hanged by the locals. James was never convicted of the crime, likely because of his strong influence in the town. However, the ostracization grew to be too much, and in 1878, he left his family to live in solitude on the West Coast. He quietly started a moderately successful ice cream business in the 1880s. It didn't grow into the regional juggernaut it is today until it was taken over by his grandson, Peter. He died there in his villa in 1891 from an unusual insect bite. I rubbed my eyes and checked the time. 3 hours have passed already, and it's late into the afternoon. Apparently Carl's game is so good he hasn't even bothered to come down and check on me. I sigh and gather up a few of the items: a pocket watch, what looks like a nugget of gold, and what I think is a stamp with a crest on it. I'll need to take the pictures outside, considering how dim it is down here. I lay the items down on the adobe sidewalk that leads up to Carl's house. Deciding that will make a suitable background, I start taking pictures. Hours after the discovery of the binder, I'm still relieved. I was really starting to worry with how little time I had left, but Trisha's research has saved me hours of time. In fact, she pretty much laid everything out for me. I nearly jump out of my skin and spin around, still clutching the camera. Behind me, I can see the window still rattling from the force of whatever knocked on it. It's a basement window and a window well, though I can't see anything through it, it's too dark. I stare for a while, frowning. What the fuck was Carl doing? Did he go back downstairs and somehow see me through the window and decide to scare me? I slowly gather the artifacts back up and place in my bag, keeping an eye on the window as I do. If he wanted to pull that shit, then I could play that game too. The only problem is that Carl isn't in the basement. From what I can gather, it was the window next to the crawl space that was hit. Looking out, I can see the spot where I must have been standing. The chills return and I shiver as I move back to the crawl space. It had to have been Carl, though I don't get why he wouldn't have stayed down here until I came back. I gather everything back up and start to place them back into the tub in the same order I'd taken them out. And that's when I noticed something. At the very bottom of the tub, a plastic bag has been opened with its contents spilled out. I set down the binder, which I'd been about to put away, and reach in, sifting through the spilled papers. They're newspaper clippings from the town of Peyton. They are incredibly old, and I can't imagine this is the best way to preserve them. Either way, the fashion in which they're carelessly spread out across the bottom of the tub makes me wince. I don't remember leaving it this way, and it makes me feel sick that I could have damaged any of it. Slowly, I push all the clippings back into the baggie, making sure to seal it tight after I do. From what I can see, nothing's been visibly damaged. I sigh before putting everything back in the tub and shutting it with the lid, making sure it's sealed tight. It's a shame that it's been so difficult for Carlos family to set up the museum. From the looks of it, some of this stuff isn't going to last much longer without proper preservation. Finally, I dragged the tubs back and subconsciously taking note of exactly how I left them before heading back upstairs. When I get upstairs, though, Carl is asleep. His controller is still above his head, clutching his paws as if he'd fallen asleep the moment I'd left. On the screen, his character is immobile, standing in the middle of some hut. A single NPC stands in front of him, walking back and forth. Every now and then it stops in front of him, exclaiming, "What are you doing in my hut?" I reach out and place a paw on his shoulder, and he immediately opens his eyes, snorting loudly. He sits up and rubs at his face, snorting again as he breathes deeply. Did she go downstairs? What happened? It's almost funny how utterly confused he looks. If he's acting, he's doing a damn good job of it. I heard some noises downstairs. I thought it was you. No, I don't think so. Things are moving around, too. He takes in a deep breath before blowing it out. I told you, man, this place is hard. I wasn't joking. Both look at each other for a moment. Finally, Carl breaks the awkward silence. So how'd it go, aside from the ghosts? It went alright, just 3 hours and a bunch of research. He looks at me blearily. Oh shit, seriously? I was gonna come down after a while, I just fell asleep, yeah. Anyway, we were supposed to go out today. Really? Yeah, remember you said so a few days ago. What? Carl looks around. Well, what'd you want to do? I think. Don't you have an interview tomorrow? Don't remind me. Carl picks up his controller again and I frown. Well, I was thinking we could go out and maybe get you a new look. Now Carl frowns, clicking away at the controller. Like what? Well, your clothes for one. Do you have any dress clothes? You don't. Seriously. Have you ever had an interview before? Well, yeah, it's just that I've, grown out of them. Well, we'll definitely need to get you some of those. I look at his beard thoughtfully. Maybe we should give you a more clean-cut look. Carl doesn't say anything, instead goes on frowning. I put a paw down on his controller, forcing him to pause. Come on, it could be fun. You can't stay in this house, in this room, forever. He finally does look at me, then his expression kind of sad. What's wrong? Carl looks away, then stands up slowly, his joints popping. Nothing. If it makes you happy, then why not? Great. Just, I'd rather just play some video games with you. It's tempting, just watching Carl plays a lot of fun with his style and commentary, but this is more important. I really want to help him out. Maybe later tonight. Let's get this done first. So apparently a great-great-great-great-grandfather was accused of sodomy. What? Carl looked up from his phone, his muzzle wrinkling. Yep, with John Begay, who I'm almost positive is related to Jenna, but I'll have to ask her. Are you serious? How'd you find that out? He pauses. And maybe don't ask Jenna about that. From what I can tell, your mom's trying to write a book. Carl strokes his beard. Oh yeah, she is, isn't she? Well, was more like. I don't think she's worked on it in years. From the looks of it, she started in college. Damn, well, I do remember her saying it stressed her out a lot, or that's something that happened to make her stop. Carl seems to be thinking. Actually, I think I remember talking to my dad about how those old things freaked her out or something. He shrugs. We've always said the house is haunted. Carl's phone starts buzzing. And speaking of Jenna, she's calling me. Carl looks a bit perturbed, but he puts on a cheerful voice as he answers it. Yo, whale ears. Ah, that old name. As he listens to her response, I see a smile slowly slide off his face. I can hear the sharp, muffled tones of Jenna's voice, even though he's holding the phone on the other side of his face. I guess she cuts him off because he doesn't finish. I glare. Here, let me talk to her. The way Jenna acted yesterday, which isn't like her at all, has given me a pretty good idea of what she's going off about right now. Carl isn't giving me the phone, though, instead just staring out the windshield as we continue on the highway. Finally, he lowers the phone from his ear and stares out at the screen for a while. She hang up? Yeah, since somehow Leo's depressed now, and how us hanging out by ourselves isn't helping things. I roll my eyes. You know what? Fuck Jenna. She's on one since Leo's day didn't go the way he wanted it to. For some reason, she just wants to blame you. Yeah. Carl looks out his window so he can't really gauge the mood he's in. Listen, let's get something to eat first. I'll buy. No, my parents are rich. I'll pay. I can't exactly argue with that, so I don't. I also don't feel like I can leave it at that, so hesitantly I reached out a palm placed on Carl's shoulder. Seriously, let's have fun today, okay? Forget Jenna. He looks over at me and gives me a sad smile. I'm fine, Chase. I just want to get this over with so we can go back and play some games. I sigh. Is that all you think about these days? Hey, lots of people play games for a living. Name one. Rob Lowe. That's a sport. Still a game. I grins to hear that jokey playfulness back in his voice. Glad able to take his mind off Jenna for the moment. Well, at least that keeps him active. Playing games all day will get you unhealthy. Fat. If you didn't notice, I'm already there. You're not that bad. I swear you're mostly muscle. And I guess I've got nothing to worry about. But you should get out more. Why? I've got entire worlds in my game. I don't know. What about girls? They're in games too. Well, you can't exactly touch a boob with your actual paws in a game. I don't know. I swear to God there's an anime land. You know what? You know what I mean. Already done it. Not that great. You a queer or something? I say it with, You a queer or something? I'm not in the mood for that shit. Let's just say I don't live my sexuality. I let that sit for a second. That's a pretty queer thing to say. Guess I'm a pretty queer dude then. Is that so? Besides, until I'm able to see my hooves again, I don't think any girls are gonna be after me. That's what we're doing right now, trying to give you a good new look, a fresh start. It'll boost your confidence and your appeal. You'll have girls and boys after you. Again, Carl doesn't act very enthused about that. I tell myself it's only because he has to go out. Once we get there, I'm sure I'll cheer up. I swear, every store in the Peyton Mall is dark and covered in neon. Carl stands there awkwardly, looking around as if unsure about what to do. So what kind of look do you want to go for? Carl looks at me like I'm crazy. Seriously, dude? I have no idea. You brought me here. Just work with this for the next hour, and I promise you can go to the game store next. Carl makes a big show of sighing, but I assume the twitch in his ears indicates he'd like that a lot. Well, it's just dress clothes, which shouldn't be that big a deal. Carl's getting all insecure the way he did during the surprise birthday party. It's kind of cute. Is this Raven? The voice comes from behind me, and Carl smiles over my shoulder before I turn around. Raven? Oh, yeah, it's this person. Black and white two-toned huskies just a few feet behind me grinning. How long has it been? I don't know what fucking voice to give this fucker. Too long, man. What are you doing here? I moved back after Dad got fired. Now I work here. I can ask the same about you, Chase. Well, just on spring break right now. You work at a clothing store now? Raven laughs. No, I'm a store down. I work at Game Central. Carl perks up at that. So you're still in school, huh? Well, it's great to see you. Raven's accent is only slightly detectable now. Oh, he has an accent? Fuck. The only noticeable foreign thing about him being his name. So what are you guys doing here? Getting clothes? I don't fucking know what the fuck am I supposed to voice this dude? Yeah, for Carl, actually. It's an interview tomorrow. For some reason, Carl ducks his head at that, and though through his ears I can see him blush deeply. Yeah, really? It's about time. I mean, I have had a job before. So what kind of look are you going for? When Carl doesn't answer, I speak up. That's what we were just trying to figure out. That's what we were trying to figure out just now, actually. Carl shrinks further in himself, his hat seeming to fall further over his eyes. Dude, it's just dress clothes, really. Well, I think you should get a red tie at least. Might go get with your eyes and maybe trim that beard. I don't fucking know what voice to give this dude. Since when were you a fashionista? Come on, Carl, let's at least try it out. Carl sighed, rubbing his forehead. Okay, fine, but only as long as we're out here in the next hour. Yeah, I'm gonna get back to work, but I'll be free in about an hour. Let's catch up. I wave at Raven, then turn back to Carl. That was nice. Didn't think I'd ever see him again. Me either, actually. I'll have to hang out with him more. I mean, I like Flynn, but having to put it up with him is just to get a ride to the store isn't always worth it. But anyway, if you wanted to get out of here now, then we should probably get started. The process is a lot less painful than Carl makes it out to be. Soon enough, though, on our way to the food court, Carl carrying a bag way too big for the contents inside. We meet Raven again, and once we get our food, he suggests we eat outside. I seriously think that Raven is literally just a fucking Patreon backer. Persona character? I don't fucking know. Jesus, I needed that drink. I look from my full combo meal to Carl's small, tiny container of tater tots. Not hungry? Carl just shrugs and grins at me. You just don't know the ways of the fatty. Huh? We're over-judged all the time, especially when we're eating. He delicately bites a tater tot in half before adopting a sarcastic tone. Ew, gross, of course he's eating. That seems kind of unfair. See, Raven thinks so too. The husky's in the middle of a huge bite of a Subway sandwich, his eyes on Carl. He swallows before speaking. I can see that you're self-deprecating as ever. You know me. So Chase, you're still dating that wolf, Leon? Leo, and no. I ignore the sidelong glance I get from Carl. Oh, sorry about that, you two are cute together. It's hard to know what to say when people comment on your relationship. If someone isn't homophobic, gay relationships are usually cute or adorable. Or maybe it was just the size difference. But seriously, I've always wanted to date Nada. Oh, really? Yeah, they're adorable. Swimming clowns. Do tell. Raven picks up my sarcastic tone right away, but doesn't seem to faze him. Well, yeah, you know what they say about ours and blowjobs. Carl almost chokes in his last tater tot. The hell, Raven, you barely know when you're saying that shit? Carl's laughing, though. I'm sure to keep my face passive. Oh, what do they say about ours and blowjobs? Raven laughs. You know, they never have to come for air. 10 minutes non-stop. Raven giggles and makes a visible effort to keep a straight face. Sorry, I don't mean to make you uncomfortable. It's just one of those jokes I always hear. You can imagine I do too, and it's 8 minutes, by the way. I'd take that too. Carl crumbles up a straw wrapper and flicks it off Raven's bluish-looking nose, at which he simply smiles. Carl stands up. Hey, I'm going to the bathroom. Raven, don't be a dick. Not. We both watch Carl amble up before Raven turns back to me, that dopey smile back in his face. So how long are you going to be here, Chase? We need to catch up. I wonder what catching up means when our biggest interaction at this point was about dissecting a shark in high school biology. Sunday, school starts up again on Monday. Despite having a head start in the project thanks to Carl's mom, I still get a nervous twinge in my stomach. I still have a lot left to do. Voiceovers, B-rolls, and oh god, editing. I'm shutting out. His adorable excitement is barely contained, and I'm pretty sure I can hear the thumping of his tail against the curb we're sitting on. An earlier offense to stereotype in fathers I'm running out much worse dogs get it. They're not common in Echo or this side of the world, for that matter. While others are thought of as entertainers, I feel like it's better than dealing with being seen as a simpleton. So the main reason I'm here is to do a news segment at Echo for class. It was going to be on TV. I laugh. No, I mean, maybe if I get into rotation on the college TV station. If I get into the rotation on the college TV station, but otherwise, no. But that's still pretty cool. The point is that it's kind of boring. What is it, just a bunch of writing or? Mostly going through old stuff. Carl's family saved a bunch of artifacts from the old days. What was you like, actually touching the old stuff? Yeah, that's kind of a weird way to put it, but yeah. Sounds awesome. His echoing nature is kind of infectious. I smile. Well, if you're really interested, I wouldn't mind having some help. It's great, I have the next 2 days off. Cool, well, ask Carl when he gets back. Takes a while for the round to return, but when he Does, he seems a bit reluctant to agree to the idea, which kind of surprises me. But eventually we convince him and we make plans for even to come over the next day. As we're heading back out to the car, I nudged Carl, forcing him into a slight stumble. What's up? What do you mean? I try to keep my tone light. You seem a bit down. Actually, you have all day. Carl shrugs. I nudge him again and he giggles. I don't know, it's just awkward coming out here and having you two just examine me like that. Oh, yeah? Yeah, dude, it just feels kind of weird is all. I stay silent for a moment, wondering if I made the right decision in doing all this. Well, I'm just trying to help you out, you know? I know, bro, it's cool. Seriously, I've been thinking. Man promised worrying about going out in public like a social anxiety. Whoa, now you're sounding like Jenna. What the fuck was that? Was that supposed to be Chase or something? I think it was. Seriously, I've been thinking. Yeah, okay, it might have been Carl, who fucking knows. I don't. We get to my car and he smiles at me over the roof while I unlock the doors. I feel like if we can break through that, it'll help you out a bunch. I break eye contact and we both slide into our respective seats. I think this job will be a huge part of that, so I really want you to get it. As I lean to the side to pull out my seatbelt, I feel something soft and warm pressed to my cheek. It only lasts for a second, then it's gone. I look over at Carl, but he's looking out the window. Did you just kiss me? Yeah, bro. Are you high? No, I mean, maybe. He giggles. So yes. Still, I pull out the parking space. If he hadn't made a move on me last night, I might have been a little more shocked. Why the hell did you get high anyway? Alley behind the mall. Charming. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got a few needles stuck in my hooves. We drive in silence for a while, Carl looking out the desert scenery while I squint out the windshield, trying to see through the hazy orange sunset. I didn't mean that, by the way. What? Just thanks. Sure. I don't know what else to say, so I leave it at that and we drive along in pleasant silence. Carl still seems a little sad and I can't pinpoint why. I'm hoping that it's just a phase. That by the time this interview is over, he'll be able to get past his anxiety and finally be done feeling like a failure at everything. Doesn't work that way, Chase. The fuck is this? I wake up to the feeling of a familiar, numbing heaviness in my body. Oh, shit. I try to tug. I try to move, tugging at what feels like a massive weight in my arms and legs. But all I can manage is to wiggle my fingers. It feels like someone's pressing down on my chest, trying to suffocate me. Sleep paralysis. I fucking hate this shit. And something's in the room with me. I can't help myself. No, dude, this is the worst thing you could possibly do in this scenario. A blood-red glow fills Carl's room as if from a nightlight covered in blood. The sight would have made me whimper if I was able to make any kind of sound. My eyes flick around the room. It looks strangely empty, a lot more empty than I remember it, as if Carl is in the middle of a move and he packed up all his toys and decorations. In fact, the only thing I recognize in his room is his bed. Blankets tossed back and empty. I'm alone. Shit! Oh my god, I know that sound. That's Narch's. That's an art. What the fuck? I hear a chuckle right next to my ear and it's straight out of a horror movie. Yeah, no shit, dude. Whatever it is, it's right out of my line of sight and I can't turn my head to see what it is. Oh, fuck this. My heartbeat picks up and I decide to close my eyes, knowing that nothing good will come out of opening them. It breathes heavily in my ear for a while, then stops. The weight lifts off of my body and I feel its presence leave. I sit up, open my eyes again and sigh with relief. But then I realize the room is still empty and so is Carl's bed. What the fuck? Die! Something yanks me out of bed and suddenly I'm being pulled by both feet down the hallway. Down the stairs. Down the basement. Towards the crawl space. Into darkness. Furry legs crawl over my body and pinpricks pierce every inch of my flesh. I'd give anything to be able to scream right now. I gasp and jolt out of the paralysis. I wait a good 10 seconds before convincing I'm really out of it. Carl snoring loudly in his bed, one arm dangling over the side while his belly rises and falls. I sit up and I rub my face, wondering how the hell I'm going to get back to sleep after that. You probably won't, dude. Jesus Christ. Well, that was fast. Jesus, of course. Yeah, fucking Raven. So apparently, Friday's gonna be with that person. Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, guys, that was a shorter episode than last time by a country mile. Holy shit. Hope y'all enjoyed that. Jesus Christ, I'm gonna have a hard time finding out a voice for fucking Raven of all. Jesus Christ. I don't understand. Jesus, okay. See y'all, I guess.